Lance Reddick has passed away at the age of 60 from natural causes. From his iconic role in The Wire to his calm, mysterious presence in the John Wick franchise, Lance had an extensive filmography and a career that spanned more than 2 decades. And today, I'll be showing you exactly why every John Wick fan is devastated over the news of his passing. So, let's look at one of the most beloved characters from the franchise, the one and only Chiron. If you're not familiar with the name, then boy, are you in for a treat. He served as the concierge of the Continental Hotel, which is the one place where all assassins can go to take a breather without worrying about getting their heads blown off. And let me tell you, he was one cool cat. Played by the suave and talented Lance Reddick, he quickly became a fan favorite. Let's dive deeper into the heart and soul of Chiron. His personality. I mean, we all know he's cool and collected, but what else makes him so unique? First, let's talk about how calm he always seemed, even at odd times.
Need more firepower.
He could be in the middle of a firefight and still have his cool facade intact. It was almost like he had a secret meditation technique that he used to keep himself calm under pressure. If I were in his shoes, I definitely wouldn't look that cool doing it. Aside from that, he had a great sense of control. He was always in charge of every situation, even when he wasn't the one making decisions.
Sir, there is an adjudicator here to see. Very well, sir.
This made him a valuable asset to the Continental Hotel, and it's no wonder everyone respected him.
Lower your gun.
But here's the thing. His personality wasn't just about being cool and collected. He also had a certain charm that made him endearing to fans. His quiet confidence and understated elegance made him a character we all rooted for.
He's waiting for you in the lounge, sir.
That's something the franchise has now lost forever. But overall, Chiron's unique personality was a key factor in his popularity. He was cool, collected, charming, and loyal. All qualities that made him a character we wanted to befriend. Lance Reddick did an excellent job of bringing this character to life, and we're all going to miss him dearly. But there's another thing that makes this character crucial, and that's his unwavering loyalty to John Wick. From the very beginning, he had a special bond with John. He was there to greet him at the Continental Hotel and was always willing to help him whenever he needed it. But it wasn't just about doing his job. He genuinely cared about John and wanted to make sure he was safe. This loyalty was evident in every film. When John was on the run in Chapter 2, he helped him evade the assassins who were hunting him. In Chapter 3, he went above and beyond to help John, even though it meant putting himself in danger. What made his loyalty so special was that it wasn't just about protecting John. It was also about being his friend. He was there to offer words of encouragement and support, and he always had John's back, no matter what. Of course, fans loved his loyalty because it showed that he was a true friend. In a world where everyone seemed to have their own agenda, he was one of the few characters who could be trusted. It's one of the defining features of his character. We may never see him on screen again, but his loyalty to John Wick will always be remembered. But there's a whole bunch of lore that the franchise hasn't even touched yet. Throughout the films, there were hints that Chiron had a complex history, and fans were eager to learn more about him. We knew that he was a former assassin like John, but beyond that, his history was shrouded in mystery. This left fans speculating about what kind of life he lived before he became the concierge of the Continental Hotel. There were hints throughout the films that he had a dark and troubled past. In Chapter 2, he reveals to John that he has a debt to pay, but we never find out what that debt is. And in Chapter 3, we see him fighting with a level of skill that suggests he has had extensive combat training. Fans loved trying to piece together Chiron's backstory. They would analyze every detail, trying to find clues about his past. Some speculated that he was a former member of the High Table, while others believed that he worked for the Russian mafia. This mysterious past was so intriguing that it added depth to his character. He wasn't just a one-dimensional sidekick. He was a complex and multifaceted character with a rich history. It was this complexity that made fans love him even more, and it left them wanting more. While we may never learn the full extent of his history, his enigmatic past will continue to be the subject of speculation and discussion for years to come. And who knows, maybe we'll even get a spin-off focused on his backstory. I know I have a few actors in mind who can play a young version of him. But there's another thing about this character that simply stood out. And believe me, there's no other man on Earth that can replicate it. I'm talking about his style. Chiron was always impeccably dressed, and his unique sense of fashion was one of the things that made him stand out from other characters in the films. His signature look was, of course, tailored suits. He always looked sharp and sophisticated, even when he was in the middle of a gunfight. Fans loved his suits, and many even tried to replicate them. I mean, who wouldn't want to look as cool as Sharon? But it wasn't just his suits that fans loved. His ties were also a big hit. He always wore a stylish tie that complemented his suit, and fans took notice. In fact, some fans even started collecting ties similar to Sharon's. And let's not forget about his glasses. He wore a pair of black-rimmed glasses that added to his overall coolness. Fans loved his glasses. They really added that extra oomph to his overall persona. He was cool, collected, and always in control, and his style reflected that. Even in the midst of chaos, Sharon looked like he just stepped out of a GQ magazine. He was a style icon who always looked his best, even in the most dangerous situations. And that's something that fans are going to remember for a long time. But enough about Sharon, his style, his actions, or anything else. I think we all know exactly why he was such an iconic character, and that was because of the actor playing him. You can't deny that Lance Reddick's portrayal of Sharon was simply irreplaceable.
It has been a pleasure, Mr. Wick.
From his perfectly calm voice to his enigmatic eyes, Reddick brought him to life in a way that made fans fall in love with him. His acting was so spot on that we really can't imagine anyone else playing Sharon. There was something about the way he delivered his lines that made fans feel like Sharon was a real person.
It may be more.
Of course, sir.
So when the old place get a facelift?
Around 4 years ago. But I assure you, sir, she really hasn't changed much.
Same owner.
Same owner.
With a rich history and complex emotions. That's what makes his passing all the more tragic. He's a one-in-a-lifetime talent, and there's just no way to replicate him. But perhaps what really made fans love Sharon, and by extension Reddick's portrayal of him, was the fact that he brought a level of authenticity to the character that was hard to find elsewhere in the franchise. Sharon wasn't a flashy character like John Wick, with his guns and fighting skills. He was a quiet, unassuming character who had a mysterious and intriguing presence, and Reddick captured all of that perfectly. In the end, it's hard to imagine anyone else playing Sharon in the John Wick franchise. Reddick's performance was so iconic, he's pretty much become inseparable from the character in the minds of fans. Sharon may be gone, but his legacy lives on, thanks in large part to the incredible acting of Lance Reddick.
Company grounds, Sharon.
Do you expect him to make it out?
$14 million bounty on his head. Every interested party in the city wants a piece of it.
And that's why John Wick will never be the same after Reddick's death. We hope you're smiling in heaven, Lance.
Well played, sir.